Today we're really going deep, asking maybe the oldest question. Who is God? It's something people have wrestled with forever, right? Seeking minds, seeking hearts, still asking it now.
Absolutely. It never really goes away.
And our guide for this exploration is Hanshi Dina Naidu through his book, We Are God, which, fascinatingly, he wrote in just 21 days.
Incredible focus.
Right. And Hanshi Naidu, well, he's not your typical theologian. He's a kihatsu.
Which is a Japanese term for an enlightenment master.
Yeah.
Someone really dedicated to spiritual awakening.
Exactly. And also SMA Spirit Mind Awareness, plus a karate master and a meditation teacher.
So he brings this really unique mix, doesn't he? Martial arts discipline, mental training, deep spiritual insight.
All focused on this huge question. It gives such a fresh perspective. So our mission today, let's unpack how Naidu challenges those, standard views, and how he offers this different way of seeing God, basically as consciousness itself.
It's definitely thought-provoking.
So get comfortable. See if we can discover some new insights, maybe even shift our own thinking a bit. Okay, let's begin. Let's really unpack this. Most of us have these images, don't we? God as maybe a man in the sky, or that complex idea of the Trinity.
Yeah, those are very common reference points in many cultures.
But Naidu, he immediately asks us to pause, to question those frameworks.
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is how he questions them. It's not just blind critique. He uses this kind of rigorous, almost logical approach, especially with the Christian Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
What's his specific point there?
Well, he brings up this idea of omnipresence. If spirit is everywhere, and, if some traditions say the devil is also everywhere, his question is quite direct. How can two totally opposite energies exist in the exact same space simultaneously?
So if omnipresent means literally everywhere.
Exactly. How does that work? It forces you to examine the definitions, the logic behind the concept itself.
It's like applying a stress test to the idea.
You could say that. It's about the internal consistency.
So he's using logic, but then he brings in this quantum mechanics analogy, which might seem like a leap to some.
Right, and it's important to clarify, he's not saying theology is quantum mechanics. Not at all. He uses it as an analogy to prompt thinking. Look at proton, neutrons, electrons. They're all part of it, but they occupy distinct states, distinct spaces, if you will.
Okay.
So his point is, if even fundamental physical particles need their own space or energy signature, how could these vast opposing spiritual forces occupy the exact same point everywhere?
It's a mental model challenge then, using a scientific principle to question a theological one.
Precisely.
Yeah.
To push us to refine how we conceptualize omnipresence.
Okay, so after looking at that Western concept, he then turns east to the Hindu Trinity. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, or Shiva, creator, preserver, destroyer. He says its meaning is very different.
Yes, crucially different for his argument. And here's the key distinction he makes. These three roles, these deities, are, in his words, also created for three specific roles via consciousness.
So they aren't the ultimate source themselves.
Exactly. That shifts everything. God isn't one of those roles, or even the sum of them. God is the underlying consciousness that assigns or manifests those roles.
So the divinity we often think of as personified beings
are, in this view, manifestations or functions of that deeper consciousness. Not the consciousness itself. It's a fundamental shift from entity to underlying force.
So if these deities are created by consciousness, it really changes how we might think about worship, doesn't it?
That's a great point. It becomes less about asking a specific entity for something.
And more about...
And maybe more about understanding or aligning with that fundamental consciousness, that source from which everything arises. It puts the sacred less out there and more in here and all around.
Right. Which sets the stage perfectly for what comes next. This next part of Naidu's explanation, it's where things get really interesting, almost mind-bending for me. He actually tries to trace the origin of God itself, back before time, space, energy, just a single thought.
It is mind-bending. He goes right back to the absolute beginning.
Yeah.
He describes it as, let me get the quote right, thought of a consciousness that knew it was aware of itself.
Wow. Just awareness knowing itself.
That's the foundational state. Pure awareness. It exists and it knows it exists. Mm-hmm. Nothing else. Just self-aware existence. Before anything is created, before anything is there to be conscious of.
It's hard to grasp. So abstract.
It is. And he seems to realize that because he offers this practical exercise. Have you tried it?
I did, yes. The one where he says, shut your senses. When you shut all your senses, you become aware that you exist.
It works, doesn't it? You close your eyes, block out sound, ignore touch.
Yeah, you strip away all the input. And what's left is just that raw sense of I am. just existing.
Exactly. He connects that very personal, internal feeling to that primordial state of consciousness he's describing. Like, we can get a little taste of it ourselves.
Okay, so from that initial point, that self-awareness, where does it go?
He lays out this 3-stage journey, an unfolding process. Stage 1 is what we just discussed. Awareness, the pure state. Consciousness simply is aware of itself, the ground state.
God, awareness.
Then comes stage 2, becoming. This is where things start to become something. Consciousness creates a thought. That thought creates a vibration. Vibration creates a sound.
And that sound culminates in
the mantra, AUM. The primordial sound. For Naidu, this isn't just symbolic. It's the actual sequence of creation's energy taking form, moving from pure potential into vibration, into the hum of the universe.
And this is where he makes that important distinction, right, between word and mantra.
Yes, absolutely crucial for him. He points out that Western traditions often talk about the word creating things.
Like in Genesis, in the beginning was the word.
Right, but he references Sanathan Dharma, or Hinduism, which uses mantra.
Yeah.
And he stresses, word does not have vibration, only mantra has.
Why is that distinction so important for his theory?
Because for Naidu, creation is inherently vibrational, energetic. A mantra is vibration, it is sound frequency. A word can be just an intellectual concept. Mantra, for him, connects directly to the energetic fabric of reality. Creation vibrated into being.
Okay, that makes sense. Vibration as the mechanism.
So awareness, then becoming through vibration and mantra.
Yeah.
What's the final stage?
Stage 3, being. This is the result, the culmination. That awareness, having gone through the process of becoming, manifests as, and this is his definition, the all-present, all-powerful, and all-knowing energy called God.
So being is the fully realized state of that initial awareness.
Yes, the omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient energy that permeates everything.
So putting it all together, awareness, becoming, being. What does this whole journey tell us about what God is?
It leads straight to Naidu's core truth, as he puts it. Consciousness is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. But it's not just a static label. You have to remember those 3 stages, awareness, becoming, being, because they define how consciousness reaches that state. It's a process, an unfolding. And the huge implication here that just hits you is that this God, this energy,
is in me, you, and everyone else and everything else. His words.
That's radical, isn't it? Compared to the idea of God being up there, out there.
Completely. It dissolves that separation. The divine isn't distant. It's the very substance of existence. It's in this table. It's in the air. It's in us.
And he's very clear what God isn't, too.
He explicitly says, God is not just a single being in some place somewhere in the sky. God is not a man, woman, or some kind of being.
It reinforces that idea of God as this fundamental conscious energy, not a person.
An energy that permeates everything. Always active, always expressing.
Okay, but then there's this twist, which I found really fascinating. He says, God, this energy, can be in an instant, be anyone, any creature, any tree, insect, any rock, the elements.
Yes, that is another layer entirely. It's not just static, omnipresent energy.
It was dynamic, transformative.
It has the potential to manifest as anything instantly, almost like the ultimate potentiality from which all forms arise and can arise again at any moment.
So it's not just the background energy, it can be the foreground too, in any shape or form.
That seems to be the implication, which really leads to a big question for you listening right now. If this divine energy, this consciousness, is not only everywhere, but can become anything instantly, and Naidu says you are part of that energy.
What does that mean about our own potential, our own capacity for awareness, becoming, being?
Think about it. Look around. Your chair, the light, the sounds. If God is energy that is in everything else, does that change how you see the world? Does the ordinary become extraordinary?
It really makes you pause, doesn't it? So as we wrap up this deep dive, we've really journeyed through Hanshi Dina Naidu's reimagining of who is God, moving from those traditional ideas of gods or a single God out there,
to this idea of a universal 3-stage process: awareness, becoming, being,
culminating in this omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient consciousness, this energy.
It's a challenging view, definitely, but also incredibly unifying in a way.
It connects everything.
So here's the final thought to leave you with. If God truly is the consciousness that underlies everything, the energy that can manifest as anything, including you, what does that truly imply about your own innate capacity, your potential for awareness, for creation, for being? How might knowing this, or even just considering it, change how you see yourself? and how you see your connection to everything and everyone around you. Something to definitely ponder.